Okay folks, I found this by the side of the footpath in the dirt. I do wonder if this is going to look a treat. This will be a challenging one. The colours and the shapes are not exactly the best for this. Sorry about the blurring, folks. Okay, let's see what we have here. It's a bit of a throwback to Australia Day. This is the where it came from, one of these Sunday Telegraph thingies. Pretty sure it's not made in Australia. Hang on, here's the tag. Let's see. Predictable, made in China. That's not dinky dye. Fuck. But that's the way the world has become, because China is slave labour. Cheap and nasty. Cheap, not always nasty. They make most of our electronics. They do a very good job at being slaves. They get walked all over, they get treated like shit, and yet they still produce a fucking first-class product. We should not be treating them like that, folks. It's not Australian. Why can't we have us made in Australia? Why not made in Australia, fucktards? Shit. One day I'm going to redesign the photocopier from scratch. And one of the things I want to eventually eliminate is made in China. The problem with manufacturing a huge product like a photocopier, or at least prototyping it, is that you may not have all the necessary components. Like, we don't make them in Australia. We don't typically make electronics in Australia, like semiconductors, for example. They're all made, from what I know, they're all made offshore, or most of them are. So, you can't basically make your product as dinky dye as you'd like it to be because of the way the system's been set up. But the thing is, one day I'd like to do that. I'd like to, I've got to try and choose suppliers of parts for this project that have to be as clean and green and as humanitarian as possible, but I may not be able to eliminate, unfortunately, all of the slave labour or the environmental carnage, because all the parts that I need to build this system, or at least prototype it, would have to be made in some of these horrid places, and I would like to try and eliminate that. And one day that's what I endeavour to do, is one day when I get the prototype made, and then I can get some money put aside. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from, but basically I'm going to make this product as dinky dye as it gets. I intend on making everything down to the smallest component, the smallest piece of wiring, Australian, full-on Australian, folks. Dinky dye Aussie, as dinky dye as a product can get, and it's going to be manufactured here in Australia. It's going to be owned by fully owned Australian by me, folks. I'm not going to sell off any shares, or I'm not going to float any stocks. I'm not interested, folks. I want to be the best CEO man has ever seen. I want to build the best copier system man will ever see, ever, period, as long as I live. I really want to do the right thing, and I want to make the best copier system on earth, folks. I'm not interested in all this money, mate. Yeah, of course we've got to make money. Money is necessary, folks. I'm not against money per se. I know having money in society is important. I'm not fucking going to turn this into communism or whatever they call it. It's still going to be, and I'm not into capitalism either, folks. So I don't know what they're going to call it. Still going to make money, but the money's got to be done you got to use money. When you're a person who has a lot of money, you got to use it wisely. You got to help others who are less fortunate than yourself. You're going to help the environment. You got to clean up the planet, make the place green, clean, green, and all the rest of it. Basically, yeah. Leave the place cleaner than before you came to it. I don't know how that goes, but I really want this product to be really good, and I want to make it a great humanitarian company, and the product to be humanitarian, to appeal to humanity, that it's not just going to be about making money, it's going to be more than money. The money's going to be used to help others and to help the planet. It's got to be something like that. You've got to make the world a better place. You can't just be selfish and keep it to yourself. What happens? You've got to be really passionate about what you do. That's what helps make the product better. Helps you to get motivated to aim for excellence, because I want to help others. I don't want there to be homelessness anymore. I don't want there to be hunger anymore. I want everyone to have what's called a fair go, and I even want to hire some or a fair amount of what do they call it? I just lost my train of thought. Skilled migrants. Yeah, this is a multicultural country. We've got to remember that. But we do want the migrants to be fully committed to Australia, so they've got to become Australian citizens. And once they become Australian citizens, they get really good work conditions. They get to work here, of course. I'm not going to have slaves with people who are not Australian. No, that's not what I meant. I just meant that it has to be... we do want people to be committed to our country and our way of life. So we do want them to become citizens, but that shouldn't be too hard for most, hopefully. Don't quote me, I'm not an expert on this shit, migration. I don't know hardly anything, but I do want people who come from other countries to settle in Australia, that they'll have the same conditions as people who were born in Australia or who were born to Australian parents, to have the same opportunities. So we treat them right. We treat them well. We pay them well, very well, a wage worth a little bit more than what they are typically worth in Australia. So we've got to make the world a better place, and we've got to make Australia a really good place to put on the map. And this is our piece, our parting salute to Australia and corporate and manufacturing and design. Yep, yeah, gotta go.